Okay, so today we will see another control statement like your break and continue. It's the go to statement. Okay, did you guys try the programs I shared last class? Lab class কৰিছা নে সবে?
Yes, ma'am, কৰিছো।
পাৰিছিলা তো?
Ma'am, but submit দিব পৰা নাছিলো Google Classroom-টোত।
Submit কৰিব পৰা নাই?
নাই ma'am, কৰিব পৰা নাছিলো।
কৰি দিবা। Try কৰিবা আকৌ।
Okay, ma'am. But
Submit
মানে
কৰা লিংকটো
অপশনটো
দিয়া
কোৱা
নাই কিজানি।
ma'am অপশন কৰিব পৰা
আচ্ছা
নাই।
মই assignment দিয়া নাছিলো সেইকাৰণে পৰা নাই। আচ্ছা ৰবা। Okay, so today we will see go to statement. So just like your break and continue, this is also kind of a control statement which will give the control of the program to a particular label. Okay. So this is also known as your jump statement. Why jump statement? Because it just transfer the control of your program to a predefined label. Okay, so there will be a particular label and it will just pass the control to that label portion of your programming code. So using go to statement, you can just repeat some part of the code in a particular condition. So your syntax can be like, suppose there will be the exact name will be go to, then there will be a particular label. Okay, label can be anything. It's up to you what type of label you want to give. Then there must be some statements or something like that. Then the label portion will be somewhere here. Okay, then there might be some conditions, a piece of code for this particular place. So this is the syntax. So whenever in your program you will encounter this part, your control will directly go to this label part and this in between code will be simply skipped. Okay, so label is just an identifier. It can be any name you can give in the program. So whenever goto will encounter that label, the control of the program will jump to the label and will start executing the code. Okay. So let's just see an example. Okay, your go-to statement, when is it useful? It is useful when you want to break multiple loops. Okay, if there are multiple loops are there, we have seen till now like 2 loops. In some programs there might be 3 loops, 4 loops and all. So using single break statement, you cannot just get out of the loop. So using the label or means go to statement, you can just keep just come out of all those loops. Okay, but nowadays go to statement is kind of avoidable. People don't use it because it makes less readable and complicated. This is kind of obsolete nowadays. Okay, but still you should just know how it works. So let's just see an example. So just avoid using GoTo in your programs, but because you are just learning from the initial stage, so I'm just showing it. Okay, so suppose you want to write a program to just table of some numbers, maybe table for 10, like 10 into 1 into 10 equal to 10, 10 into 2 equal to 20, like that. So with the help of GoTo statement, you can write the program. You can use any statement. I'm just showing one of the example just to know how it works. So I will just initialize the variable, maybe number. Then I'll again initialize the variable. Then with again I initialize as 1. Okay. Suppose just take value from user. Whose table you want to create. Okay. Okay, so it's up to the user. So whatever number user will enter, you are going to access it with the help of identifier %d and the location of that number. And there is a table. Okay, this table is your label part. Okay, this table is your label part for your GoTo statement. Okay, inside the table, you can simply write printf. If you want to show the whole numbers like %d, means in this form, %d number I and number into I. Okay, and then I plus plus. Okay, what's happening here? What you are doing here is that you are taking a number, right? Suppose number is 1. Then you have initialized the value I. Okay, that means 1 into 1. So whatever result will be there, it should be show here. So it will be 1, right? So you can also store this intermediate variable as result. Okay, you can just write multiply of something. You can just write like result equal to number into I. Okay, so instead of writing one more step, I just did it in a single line. So printf, it will be in this form, means it will be in this form. Then I am taking the number, whatever number user will input. Then I is the counter I have initialized as 1. Then number, then result this %d is your number into I. Okay, whatever number will be inputted, it will be like 1 number into 1 number into 2 number into 2. Then I put this I plus plus statement. That means initially whatever number you will put, it will be 1 into 1. Next same number I plus plus, so value of I will be 2, so you will write 2. Then 1 into 3, then value will be 3 and so on. Okay, so if you keep doing like this, that means you need a stopping condition, right, where you want to stop. Normally for numbers, we just write up to 10, right? 1 into 1, then up to 10, it's done. So you can just put the condition here. If I less than equal to 10, go to table. Okay. So this is your function. Yeah, don't forget to write return 0. Okay. So this is one. So output of this program will be that if you want to write anything or print any number like just 1, it will be like 1 into 1, 1, 1 into 2, 2, 1 into 3, 3, and so on. Okay, so the moment it will reach the 10, I will be 10, it will just stop there. Okay. Clear, everyone? See, your expression can be in both ways. Okay, both ways means you can either write label first, then go to label, or you can also put go to label first, then you can put the label later. Anything is possible. Okay, just that in this case, I have created the label which is table first. Okay. Now we have to know when we can use the go to, right? As I already mentioned, it mainly helps you to come out of the loop when there are multiple loops. Okay, so for the multiple loops or nested loops, single statement, single break statement is not just enough to come out of the line. Okay, so in that case, if there are multiple loops and you want to go out of that thing, then you can use your go to statement. I can show you another example. You want to write this program. If you have any confusion, just ask immediately, okay? You can also write in the chats. If I less than 12, okay, I less than equal to 10. Okay, so see, what's your printing here? 1 by 1 and at a number Lucia. Okay, then you have another variable I and you say I equal to 1. Okay, your for the table, your condition is that it will be just do number into I equal to result. Okay, correct. This is the thing we are doing here. %d is the number. %d is the number. This %d is for I, and this %d is for your result, which is number into I. So your this line will keep doing this thing, number into I, result 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So if you don't put this condition, it will just keep going on. It will be an infinite loop, right? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, whole goal. So you need to stop somewhere, right? You can write anything. If you want to show up to 5 only, then you can just make condition as 5. That means the moment I will be 5, your table will be done. That means 1 into 5 or 1 into 1, 1 into 2, 1 into 3, 1 into 4, 1 into 5, tate stop hoye jabe. We'll just get stop there. Okay, if I write 10, so table to up to 10 loi jabo, 1 into 10 loi. If you want to write 13 and 14, 15, 20, it will go on. Normally in a table, we just write from 1 to 10, right? So that's the condition. So the moment it will come to this part, then again it will go to the table. That means it will just stop there and will again go to this table part. Table part means it will just stop there. Okay. Ita buisha? Okay, you can also see for the nested loop part. Okay. How is it useful? Include. Okay. So for the nested loops, for example, we are going to take 3 loops. Okay. If I want 3 loops, that means I need 3 variables int I, j, and k. Okay. So here I'm writing like for I equal to 0 and I condition is, let's take 10 and I plus plus. Okay. Next, my condition is for j. For j equal to 0 and j less than 5, j plus plus. Okay. Next, another loop for with the k. K equal to 0, k equal less than 3, and k plus plus. Okay. So after this, I just want to write print. Just want to show the values %d, and %d. Okay. Just for better readability, it will come one by one. I, j, k. I'm not doing anything. I'm just writing the values. Okay. So first loop should, the value should, I value should go from 0 to 10. Okay. For j, value should be 0 to 5, less than 5. Okay. And for k, value should be 0 to 3. Okay. These are the condition. Okay. Okay. So now here, I'm giving a condition. I want to get out of the loop at some point. Okay. So here I'm writing j equal to 3. Okay, if j equal to 3, I want to just come out of the loop. Remember, for break also or continue also, we provide a condition first, and based on the condition only, we just skip that part or jump from the whole loop, right? So same thing. In GoTo also, we will provide a condition where it should be stopped. So here, if j equal to 3, then I can just write GoTo out. I can just give a label out here. The data side down. Okay. E for what that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, I can just put the out label here. Okay. So for this out label, I can just write, specify that printf equal to, came out of the loop maybe, came out of the loop. Okay, so when you will come out of the loop, will satisfy the condition and will just win this line. Okay, then just return 0. Okay, so here is the program. So the output of this program will be, so for I, it should come till 10, right? For J, range is 0 to 5 and K, 0 to 3. But here I have put the condition that when J will be 3, I'll just come out of the whole loop. So for this, the output will be here 0, 0, 0. First condition is correct. Then this portion is just normal. Okay. There is no stopping condition for K, right? No stopping condition for K. So K will obviously run 3 times. 0, 1, 0, 1 and 2. Okay. A to the I value, this is J value and this is your K value, for example. So 1 is correct, then 0, 0, 2 done, K value done, 0 to 3 range. If I'm initializing it from 0, so values will start from 0, 1 and 2. Okay, still it's the total number is 3, but the range started from the 0. Okay, that's why when I wrote the condition 0 and I mention it K less than 3. Okay, if you want to initialize the value from 1, then you want only 3 values, you can write less than equal to 3. So the value of K will be like 1, 2, 3. Okay, for this condition values are 0, 1 and 2. Okay, I hope it's clear to all. So for K, it will be written done. So K is done here. Okay. Now 0 is still going on because range of 0 is from 0 to 10, right? So it's still 0 is going on. Now K 0 for J, 0 is done because after K, 3 is done. So it will come out of K part. So it will increase the value of J here. Okay. That means now J value will become 1 now. Right? So again, the same thing will happen. Again, K portion will start. K will start from 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, again, this part is for K part. Now again, K is only range is 3. So again, after that, it will come out of the range. Now, value of J will become 2. Correct? It's still I equal to still 0 because it didn't come to the I part yet. Okay. Now value of J will be 2. Again 0, 1, 0, 2 and 2. Again this part is for K. Correct. After this again it will increment the counter. Now J value will be 0, 3, 0. Okay. See, the moment it become J become 3, our condition was that I'll just come out of the loop. Okay, I'll just come out of the loop. So once it wrote J equal to 3, it will just go to the out portion. Okay, that means it is not going to increment the counter anymore. So after writing the first 3, it will just write came out of the loop. Okay, this is the output for your program. Is this program clear to you guys? How loops work? Abaswa, what's happening here? We have pre-nested loops. I for the inner one, the outer one. Then I have J. Then I have K. K range 0 to 3. J range 0 to 5. And for I 0 to 10. So here I have put the condition. The moment j value will become 3, I will go out. So just to identify, this out is your nothing but your label. Okay, this out part is your label. Okay, and this is the label. What is going to happen in your label part? Okay, so in the label, just to show you that it came out of the loop, you can just simply write label. Okay, so if you write and label means your identifier, it's nothing but your identifier, right? So you have to make sure that something is written there. Okay, just to identify it. So the program is that I, j, k. So three values will be printed. First, second, third. So sequence will be like I, j, k. So k range was 3. So after 0, 1, 2 done, it will go out of the k loop and will start the j loop. Right? Initially 0, 0, 0. Correct? Next, it will become 1, then 2, then done, then it will come back here. Okay. Next, it will become 1. Okay. Then after it will start from 0, 1, 0, 1 and 2. Once it's done, again it will go back to here. The value will be 2. Now again 0, 1 and 2. After that again it will go and it will become 3, 0, 1, 2. So if you don't put this condition here, it would have just write 5 times here. Means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 ole jabo. Then after this whole j is completed, then it will go to 0 part. Then only it will increment 1 part. You can see in the output, I value is all 0. Correct? Because we did not complete the j loop here. Okay. If you want to complete the j loop, then only it will go to the I part. Okay. You can see the difference by not giving the condition. Is it clear to everyone? Just check one. Just think about it for a while. Just see the output. Just see it for a while and think. Then let me know. So is it clear, everyone? Yes, no, anything? Janai, jadi I can explain again. Here. Only Barsha said yes. Pranjal said yes. Okay, yes, I'll just go to the next concept. How many students are there? Sneha C. Sarkar, Vivek Kolita, Pritam, Bante, Salim, 41 roll number, Jiasa, Jin Suang Momo, Pranjal said yes, okay. Arnab, Daddy, Lauren, Chintu, Mrinal, Anisha, Manop, TMG Borgohai, Vishal Das, Shreya, Dilwar, Sukanya, Amandi. So are you guys clear? Yes, respond. If you don't respond, I won't know because it's difficult to see your faces now. In offline class, at least I can see your face and I can just I'll just know whether you guys are getting it or not. Okay, so next another thing I want to tell you before going to the array part. Okay, a small, very small concept actually, typecasting. Okay, typecasting. So what is typecasting? It's just basically converting one data type from another, from one data type to another one. Okay, converting one data type into another. Okay, so this is basically your typecasting or your type conversion. Okay, so type conversion can be your implicit or explicit. Implicit conversion means when your compiler automatically just converts some of the uh, data type. For example, it has a particular hierarchy for your data types like int, then double, float, and so on. So different hierarchies are there. So in implicit, sometimes compiler just directly convert into one of the data type, but in some cases you need to do the explicit conversion. Okay, so the syntax will be like there is a cast operator actually. You can just write the type name, whatever type you want to your data type, then just expression. Okay, so basically explicit one, what it does, it just convert a higher data type like your long value you want to put in value. Long is your like higher than your in value. Okay, so if you want to put any higher type of data type into a lower type, then you mainly use your typecasting. Okay, So one very simple example can be you can just I can just write sum equal to 17, then in count equal to 5, and then again I'm just taking another variable which is double. Okay, I am just going to try to find out the mean value of two numbers. So you can just write mean equal to double sum divided by count. Okay, so you can just print the value, printf value of mean to see double for double you can write f. Okay, this is type conversion I'm writing here. So if you compile this program, the value of the mean will be 3.400 and so on. Okay. Here, the typecast operator has your precedence over your division. So the value of sum is first converted to your type double. Here I have mentioned the double, right, for the sum part. See, your sum is your in here, correct? Sum is just 17 here, which is a integer value. So if you simply just don't put like double one, then sum divided by count will sometimes can give you just the integer value. Okay, if you want the exact value, then here I have mentioned double. So here what is happening, double has your higher preference than your division. So the data type for sum has been converted into double first, and then it gets divided by the count, and this is just provided you a double value. Okay, so type conversion can be also implicit, as I already mentioned. So implicit conversion is mainly performed by the compiler automatically. Okay, and if you want to do it explicitly, then you just need to write the cast operator. Okay, let me see if I can give you another example. Another very simple one, you can just think like in just some numbers. Okay, 9 divided by 4 maybe. Then if you print the value for this, the output will be simply 2. Okay, it will just give you the output 2. Okay, 9 divided by 4 should be 2 point something something, right? So it will just give you the integer value because then you have initialized it at like int f like this. Now if you want to get the float point value, then you can just simply write float f Then here also you can write float 9 by 4. Okay. So when you will print this value, then output will be your 2.9, 2.2500 and so on. Okay. So that's the main difference. If you want to convert from one value to another, then you can just typecast it. That's the very simple one. Okay. This meeting is going to end in 5 minutes. So is this part clear? What you do in typecasting? I can give you another very simple, like if you write int x equal to 7 maybe, then y equal to 5, and we just write float equal z, and z equal to x by y. So if you run this program, then the output will be just 1. Okay, even if you wrote z equal to 1, the output will be simply 1 because your variable x and y is just in values. Now if you want float value, you have to explicitly mention it, right? Then you can just write z equal to float x, and you can write float y. Okay, if you write this way, even if your x and y value is integer, if you write this way, still you will get the floating point value. So output will be 1.4. Okay. So even if you declare the variable as int type, you can just explicitly mention that I want just the float value of x and y to get the float value. Okay, is this clear? If you simply write like this, we'll get integer value, because even if you initialize z as float, your x and y integer. So output will be simply 1. If you mention explicitly that one float value of x and also float value of y, then you will get this result. Okay, that's it. The simple conversion of one data type to another. Okay, we have a lab class, but I'll start it a bit later, maybe around 2:30. Okay, please switch on your videos for a while. I'm just stop sharing it. 26. Switch on your videos. Take attendance. Everyone, switch on your videos. Okay, those don't have cameras, it's fine, but if you don't switch on your videos, I won't give you attendance. Anisha, Chintu, Dadi, Arnab, Parsha, Jiasa, Pranjal, Sukanya, Amandir, Mrinal, ৰবা এইটো এনেও কলটো কাট হ'বই তো তেতিয়ালৈ অন কৰা in 1 minute maybe it's going to end. Okay.